This is FilmBookCast.
FilmBookCast.
FilmBookCast, the official podcast of FilmBook. Get ready for the latest in film news, TV show news, and theatrical reviews. FilmBook's podcast starts now.
Hello everyone, welcome to FilmBookCast, the official podcast of FilmBook. My name is Chris Banks. If you're tuning in for the first time, what I do on FilmBookCast, I discuss the latest film and TV show news. I also review an in-theater film sometimes. You can find more about FilmBookCast on film-book.com by using the search term FilmBookCast. You can also email us at podcast@film-book.com with FilmBookCast in the subject line. Let's jump right into it this week. This week in film news, according to The Hollywood Reporter, Captain America Civil War star Daniel Bruhl and Golden Globe nominee Macaulay Culkin will star opposite of Rosamund Pike in the forthcoming high-concept pandemic thriller Rich Flu. Details about the character and what they're really doing in the story is still being kept under wraps, but production is expected to begin this fall. Rich Flu is directed by Spanish filmmaker Galder Gaztelu Urrutia from a screenplay he co-wrote with Pedro Rivero, previously worked together in Netflix thriller film The Platform. In Rich Flu, a strange disease kills off some of the richest and most influential people on the planet. First it was the billionaires, then it was the multimillionaires, and so on progressively. Then, it threatens to strike anyone with any sort of fortune. With the whole world panicking, people try to flood the market with access the world no longer wants. The movie asks how far people would go to save their skin when the wealth that made the world go round suddenly becomes its most dangerous commodity. We'll keep up with news once Rich Flu starts shooting, but exciting news for any fans of Daniel Bruhl or Macaulay Culkin. And according to Deadline this week, Warner Brothers has already started production with the Oscar-winning filmmaker Bong Joon-ho in his Robert Pattinson-led untitled sci-fi drama that's currently starting production that'll be shot in the UK. It'll officially begin principal photography this summer, and it marks Bong's latest directorial effort after 3 years since the wildly successful theatrical run of his 2019 film Parasite. The untitled project between Bong and Robert Pattinson will reportedly be based on Edward Ashton's Mickey 7 novel. It centers around an expendable, which the synopsis described as a disposable employee on a human expedition sent to colonize the ice world. Whenever there's a mission that's too dangerous, even suicidal, the crew turns to Mickey. After one iteration dies, a new body is regenerated with most of his memories intact. After 6 deaths, Mickey 7 understands the term of his deal, and why it was the only position unfilled when he took it. It's Pattinson's first project following the most recent theatrical release of The Batman. Lastly this week, Celeste O'Connor, who recently starred in Ghostbusters Afterlife, is set to make her way back into the comic book world. According to Variety this week, she's been cast in an upcoming Sony film, Madam Web. It's set to be directed by C.J. Clarkson, and Madam Web first appeared in the pages of The Amazing Spider-Man number 210 in 1980. The character is a blind psychic that has become a major player in the world of Spider-Man due to her ties to the Great Web, a multiversal construct that ties all Spider characters together across the multiverse. Seeing how Spider-Man No Way Home introduced the multiverse concept, we could see that continue in the Madam Web film. Exciting news for any Spider-Man fans. That's it for film news for this week. This week in TV news, fans of The Good Fight will be disappointed as Paramount Plus's series is going to end with the upcoming 6th season. Creators Robert and Michelle King's acclaimed legal drama The Good Fight will officially be concluding its run in the forthcoming sixth. Creators Robert and Michelle King's acclaimed legal drama The Good Fight will officially be concluding its run with the forthcoming 6th season, currently in production. Starring Christine Baranski, the series is scheduled to make its return on Thursday, September 8th on Paramount+. The president of CBS Studios said thanks to the creative brilliance of Robert and Michelle, The Good Fight has been a marquee series for Paramount+, and a huge source of personal pride for me in our studio. Their story was further elevated by the brilliant acting talents of Christine, Sarah, Michael, Nyambi, Shireen, and an amazing roster of regular and guest actors during its run. Woven together, this amazing collection of creative talent has presented a series that is admired by critics, peers, and a global audience. Disappointing news for fans of The Good Fight. Another exciting piece of TV news that dropped this week, HBO's True Detective Season 4 has a new name, and wow. After 31 years since the theatrical release of The Silence of the Lambs, Jodie Foster will once again channel her detective skills as she officially makes her return to television. Deadline reported this week that the actress has signed on for a series regular role in HBO's forthcoming Season 4 True Detective titled Night Country. Barry Jenkins is still the executive producer. She's set to play the leading role of Detective Liz Danvers. This season of True Detective is being written by Isa Lopez and Alan Page Araga. The series is centered around Detective Liz Danvers. The series is centered around her and Evelyn Navarro, who is looking to solve the case of 6 men that operate the Tassal Arctic Research Station who vanished without a trace. The pair will have to confront the darkness they carry inside themselves and dig into the haunted truths that lie behind the eternal ice. Finally, Netflix is teasing the release date window for its forthcoming live-action Addams Family series Wednesday. It's a coming-of-age series starring Jenna Ortega. The Tim Burton-directed project is set to debut this coming fall in his TV debut. Wednesday will be an 8-episode series. Exciting news for fans of Tim Burton and the Addams Family. That's it for TV news from this week. This week in international film news, Amazon is about to pre-buy a movie that hasn't even been shot yet. Directed by promising young woman Oscar winner Emerald Fennell, Saltburn was recently acquired by Amazon and it's about to start principal photography in the UK. Plot details are being kept under wraps. We know that it's quote-unquote a story of obsession. So far, the cast includes Jacob Elordi, Barry Keoghan, and Rosamund Pike. Another piece of cool international film news, Yossi the Regretful Spy will go even deeper into the international intelligence world on Amazon Prime Video. The streamer has given a green light to a second season of the show. Set in 1994, the second season will deal with the attack on the AMIA building, the bloodiest ever terrorist attack in Argentina, which left hundreds of people dead and injured. The protagonist has become a fugitive determined to go public with the help of a famous journalist, when the Israeli intelligence service asks him to investigate the best-kept secret of Argentinian armed traffickers, the Condor missile. Exciting TV news. Mads Mikkelsen is set to star in a new period drama, Kingsland. It's a working title that will reunite the prolific Danish actor with the royal affair director Nicolaj Arcel. Set in the mid-1700s, when Danish King Frederick V declared that the wild heath of Jutland should be tamed, cultivated, and colonized so that civilization could spread and new taxes could be generated for the royal house. However, no one dared to follow his decree, for the heath meant certain death and was considered a place haunted by ravenous wolves. By 1755, lone soldier Ludwig Kalen rolled into Heath in a stubborn pursuit of a lifelong dream. Determined to reach his goal, the heath would either bring him wealth and honor or would get the better of him. King's Land is beginning to shoot September 5th in Denmark, Germany, and the Czech Republic. Exciting film news. That's it for international film news for this week. This week in DVD home releases, The Batman is now available on DVD. Taking place during the early years of Bruce's exploits as a caped vigilante, the hero discovers and battles the corruption that sits at the heart of Gotham City. While making attempts to stop a serial killer that refers to themselves as the Riddler, Bruce is caught off guard when he learns that some of the immoral activities he's fighting against may have been backed by his own family lineage. The Batman is now available on DVD. X is now available on DVD. It's 1979, and Maxine Minks looks to hit it big. She and her production crew head out in search of a private film location. They find an isolated farmhouse in rural Texas. The farmhouse owners live next door and agree to rent the space. However, Howard warns them that Pearl is not well. Eavesdropping on the X-rated activity sends Pearl into a murderous rage. When a body turns up in the basement, the filmmakers realize just how sick Pearl is. The crew ends up fighting for survival in a house of horrors. X is now available on DVD. Uma is now available on DVD. Amanda is a Korean American who lives in America with her family. Her daughter and her have the pleasure of spending their lives on a farm. They live a life peaceful enough to forget about Amanda's estranged mother who lives far away. Tension in the household grows when Amanda's mother's remains are sent to the house from Korea. This causes Amanda and her daughter to be faced with the potential burden of Amanda being more like her mother than she thought. Uma is now available on DVD. That's it for DVD home releases from this week. This week in movie trailers, Sony Pictures gave us a really exciting trailer for a film called Devotion. It's a forthcoming aerial war drama film starring Jonathan Majors and Glenn Powell. It'll be in theaters October 14th, and it's based on Adam Mako's book of the same name. It tells the harrowing true story of two elite U.S. Navy fighter pilots during the Korean War. Their heroic sacrifices would ultimately make them the Navy's most celebrated wingmen. Check out the trailer for Devotion. It'll come to us in theaters October 14th. Another film trailer that debuted this week, Vertical Entertainment released the official Abandoned trailer. It stars Emma Roberts and will be in theaters June 17th. Directed by Spencer Squire, the film follows the sharply intense lives of Sarah, her husband Alex, and their infant son as they move into a remote farmhouse which harbors a dark, tragic history. As their home's past is revealed, the mother's fragility escalates to a state of psychosis that jeopardizes her own safety and that of her newborn son. Check out the trailer for Abandoned. It'll be in theaters June 17th. The last film trailer we'll talk about this week, fans of Idris Elba will be excited as Universal Pictures dropped the trailer for the forthcoming pulse-pounding survival thriller that he stars in. The film is scheduled to hit theaters August 19th, and Elba's character is a father fighting for his and his daughter's survival against a massive lion. The film is a pulse-pounding new thriller about a father and two teenage daughters who find themselves hunted by a massive rogue lion intent on proving that the savannah has only one apex predator. Check out the trailer for Beast. It'll debut in theaters August 19th. That's it for movie trailers. This week in TV trailers, Disney Plus gave us the trailer for the upcoming series Willow, an epic period fantasy series with a modern sensibility set in an enchanted land of breathtaking beauty. Check out the trailer for Willow. Another TV trailer we were treated to this week is Andor, the upcoming Star Wars spin-off off of Rogue One. It actually takes place 5 years prior to Rogue One and over the course of 1 year. The second season of Andor will take place over the following 4 years, and according to series writer, will walk you into Rogue One. Like Season 1, Andor will be 12 episodes long. Check out the trailer for Andor. It'll debut on Disney Plus August 31st. The last TV trailer we'll check out this week is a hilarious Netflix new series starring Rowan Atkinson. You may remember him from Mr. Bean. He portrays a housekeeper who accepts a house-sitting job that goes terribly wrong because of a hard-to-catch bee. The trailer is hilarious, and it's set to debut on Netflix June 24th. Check out the trailer. Anybody who's a fan of Mr. Bean will see that we are in for a treat with Man vs. Bee. That's it for TV trailers from this week. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of FilmBookCast. You can find more of my work on film-book.com. Just search for Chris Banks or FilmBookCast. You can also find me on Twitter at @CBanksy, S-E-E Banksy. I'm also on Instagram at @TheChrisBanks. If you listen to this podcast on iTunes or another podcast service, please rate and review this episode. If you're listening to this podcast on our YouTube channel, FilmBook Podcast, please like our video, subscribe to our channel, and leave us a comment in the comment section. It really helps people discover our podcast. Please also consider becoming one of our patrons on patreon.com/filmbook. Your support helps us create more engaging content. You'll find our Patreon link below in the description. If you want to tweet about this podcast, just use the hashtag FilmBookCast. Tune in next week for the next episode of the FilmBookCast. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you then.